Yeah, uh, yeah, uh.
Welcome in, everybody. It is Tuesday night. Welcome to the Fantasy Cheat Sheet presented by Going for Two Live. Go like, follow, subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you can get your podcast or the shows. Let's just get straight into the week. It was a crazy week 6, lots of injuries. But those have been talked about on other shows. We just got one on those. Couple weird signings. But let's introduce the boys right now. First off, Jordan, what is up, my man?
Nothing too much, man. Like you said, a lot of crazy injuries. So I'm ready to get into it and talk about what this means for week 7.
All right, and Jamie, what is going on?
Same old, man. Just I can't wait for this week to end with all the injuries, bye weeks. Just get it done with.
Yeah. All right, so I am going to we're going to just wing this. I got some ideas now. All right, so let's talk about the first big thing. Anthony Richardson looks like he is going to be out for possibly the season. It looks like he's going to end up having surgery. After Sunday, they said it was an AC joint, and then it came out that it's probably more. Needs surgery. So I'm going to ask each of you a question. Jordan, what does this do for the Colts in real life football for Gardner Minshew and the weapons?
I mean, it actually helps the receivers. I think Gardner right now is a better passer than Richardson. So I anticipate, this being a boost for Josh Downs, a boost for Michael Pittman, and those guys. But I also think it helps the running backs as well. I mean, you saw they're going to be down in a lot of games, so they're going to have to throw to try to stay in it. The running backs were heavily involved. They're going to rely on him because Gardner he has been a turnover machine the times that he has played this season. So they're going to rely on the running backs. But, yeah, I think overall it helps the weapons. It just sucks to see Richardson go down there.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jamie, you know where I'm going with this question. What is the dynasty value of Richardson right now? Because I've seen people trying to sell him. I've seen people want to buy him in rebuilding teams. What would you do there? And what does this do for Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss's value? Because I know we'll be talking about the wide receivers later, so I don't want to go into that.
Yeah, for Dynasty, I've been seeing a lot of offers for Richardson, none that I'm interested in. I think today I saw one in a podcast league. It was Richardson first and a second for like Lamar Jackson and some other pieces. I didn't really. I don't know what to think about that one.
Yeah.
But no, if I have them, I'm going to hold them. I'm not going to sell them low. I mean, we spent a first 3 picks on them in this rookie draft. Yep. First 2 picks.
So, I spent number 2 on them in a super flex.
But I have them in a couple. But I also have Minshew in those same leagues, so I'm not stressing too hard. I'm just going to throw them on my IR. But for the running backs, I think it helps them. Like they're going to get more touchdowns. Richardson's not going to steal the rushing yards, the goal line work. Minshew's probably going to target them more, so it'll help in the receiving aspect. So I like it. Once Taylor gets going, playing more, he could definitely going to be one of the top 12 running backs.
Yeah, and I completely agree on that. So there was a bunch of more injuries, especially in the backfield. There was Jordan Mason going down, or not Jordan Mason going, CMC going down, which brought in Jordan Mason. And the running game more, we'll get into that later. Debo gets hurt. Kyron gets hurt. We'll get into players for the waiver wire later. But out of all the injuries that happened this week, besides Anthony Richardson and David Montgomery got hurt, there's a bunch. Jordan, what is the biggest one for you personally? Football, whatever, however, fantasy, you can go whatever. Well, to you, what is the biggest injury?
For me personally, I mean, obviously, we don't know the severity of CMC's injury. It's oblique. He's been the best player in fantasy, so that's big. But for me personally, I'm going to say David Montgomery, man. This is the second time this year he's gotten hurt. The first time with the quad, I think it was. He was supposed to miss more time than the one game he missed. Now they're saying he'll be out for a little while. They have a bye, I think, in week 9 or 10. So, who knows what they do with that? Do they hold him out? I have Montgomery on a lot of teams. I've been relying on him. He's been solid all year when playing. So that one is it's kind of frustrating because I felt like he was in the last couple of last Sunday he was in a prime spot with Gibbs being out. He could have had a big game, so that was disappointing to see. But yeah, I'd say Montgomery for me.
All right, Jamie, for you, what do you got? What's an injury that is you can say big for you, affecting you either way?
I mean, I would say Justin Fields for my fantasy teams. I had him in my super flex in a couple. Now I got to start a receiver or some Baker Mayfield. I don't even know if he's going to be playing. But yeah, Justin Fields, man, he was just starting to get going, and then he goes down.
All right,
so that hurts me too because I had DJ Moore on several teams.
Mine is the DJ Moore factor of the Justin Fields, and I feel bad for my coworker because he lives out here in California. He's a diehard Bears fan. His wife is a Raiders fan because she's from California, which means they're flying out to go see the Raiders. They've had this trip planned for months to go see the Raiders and Bears play in Chicago, and now they're probably going to see freaking Brian Hoyer and freaking Travis Bagney or whatever his dang name is. I mean, I feel bad for him, but oh well. So my injury that bugs me, and it's on a fantasy level as well. I know there's reports that these guys are going to play, but I asked Jamie about this on purpose last night on the show yesterday that you were on with Kyle and Gladys. I got a league that I got Debo and CMC. I'm in first frickin' place. I can't have these injuries affect me much longer because otherwise I'm facing some tougher teams coming up. And I really need to win this year because this is the year that there is a progressive pot for this league for whoever wins the championship twice. No one's won it twice yet. And there's 4 of us that have won so far, and 3 of us are in the top 6, and the other one's down towards the bottom. So there's that. All right. 2 other little quick pieces of injury and of news, and one of them I want to bring up an injury-related question to it. So let's just get to that one first. Sorry, Jordan. The Green Bay Packers are bringing in running back James Robinson to join the backfield. So, Jordan, yes, I want your opinion, but I am scared about this answer that the question I'm about to ask you. Does this mean that the Aaron Jones injury is worse than we anticipated and my fantasy team is scratch?
So I don't know. So a lot of times we have to look at who is behind AJ Dillon, and we have Patrick Taylor and I think it's Emmanuel Wilson.
Lou Nichols, I think, is somewhere on the practice squad.
I think he's like number. I love Lou Nichols, but I think he's like number 7 right now on the depth chart.
So it's not really a lot of depth. I guess they saw an opportunity, but it is possible that we still haven't gotten confirmation that Jones is going to be ready to play even after on Sunday, even after we had a bye. So that's alarming. Obviously these injuries linger, but I'm not worried about it yet. I know it's still the beginning of the week, but once we get practice reports on tomorrow and kind of getting an idea, I don't want to believe that yet, Mike. I don't want to speak it into existence.
Yeah,
but
I don't either. But it's just scary
because he was supposed to be ready before the bye, and then he didn't play, and so I don't know. They've been vague about the injury, and that always is a red flag a lot of times. But we'll have to play. I think
Jamie,
this was.
Do you have any quick thoughts on Jonathan Taylor or the signing in general? I mean, not Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones.
Who? Oh, Aaron Jones.
Do you have any thoughts on Aaron Jones or the signing of Robinson in general?
I think Robinson's just there for insurance, just in case the injury does linger. That's it.
I hope you're right.
I hope because I traded for him I traded for him the week, and I'm like, oh, I need him like this because I traded a first not just for him, but in the trade there was a first thrown out there in a 14-team league. I had 2 of them, so I think this one's gonna be late, but I need it. All right. The other piece of news I did not see. I didn't see James Robinson coming either, but this one I did not see coming. I didn't picture the team to do it. I didn't picture it at all. Julio Jones is flying with wings again, but this time it's in the green. He is a Philadelphia Eagle. I did not expect this. You got Devonta Smith, you got AJ Brown, you got Quez. I think that might be part of it. They got Dallas Goedert at tight end. Jordan, what the heck is Howie Roseman doing, and what is Julio gonna do, in your opinion?
Not much. I think he could be, depending on what we're getting from him, he could be an upgrade over Quez Watkins, and Watkins is hurt, which is why I think they decided to upgrade. I know they were going with Alameda Zacchaeus as the third receiver for a while, so Julio I would think is an upgrade over him. Talented guy, he's been there, so I think if he can stay healthy, which has always been an if the last several years for Julio, he can be a good third receiver for them. But I'm not expecting big things. I hope this helps Jalen Hurts stop throwing interceptions. But I think it's better for real football than it'll be for fantasy if he stays healthy.
Absolutely. Jamie, what do you got to say about this Julio Jones sighting?
Maybe it's just for him to get a Super Bowl ring. They probably put him in the slot, like maybe 45% of the snaps. Who knows? But he can just be that big slot guy. Just plus that veteran presence.
Yeah, I just think that's what it is. And
him and AJ Brown are cool, I assume.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're cool, and who knows? Maybe Devonta Smith needs another veteran in there. I know he has to be getting a little frustrated about his last couple of performances, and I heard he was upset about it, but didn't come out and want to put it in the public. But I don't think that's why they brought him in. I think you're right, Jordan. But the other thing one of the guys, Jamie, you've seen him in other chats. He's been in this chat before. He's been in the Run Bush chat. We were talking about it if this would take the question was, it was just brought up, would this take away any red zone targets from someone like Dallas Goedert or something like that? Maybe once in a blue moon, but I don't think he's going to take away targets anywhere on a normal basis.
Yeah, true. Yep.
All right, so it's time to get into the weekly cheats of the week after the news. Monday Night Football. We will get into who picked who later. Jamie went on 2 shows and split himself in half on that one. So Dallas goes and wins the game 20-17. Our boy Dak Prescott, you were close, Jamie. You said it was going to be near 300 yards. 21 for 30 for 272 yards and a touchdown, but he had 40 yards and a touchdown on the ground. CD Lamb is back, 7 receptions, 117 yards. Justin Herbert, 227 and 2 touchdowns. Austin Eckler, 14 carries and 27 yards. A little more about that in a second. Keenan Allen, 7 receptions, 84 yards and a touchdown. But we're getting to each other's takeaways. On our bold predictions show of this year, somebody on this panel made a prediction. And I just read off the leaders for each team. Rushing leader for the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, 7 carries, 40 yards and a touchdown. Jordan, will you tell us, unfortunately, who's not on that as the rushing leader and what is going on?
So I don't know what's going on, but I know that Tony Pollard has been disappointing this year, as we all know. I was very high on him. I thought he had the potential to finish as the top 3 running back. he's been saved a couple of times this season. Last night he was saved by the 60-yard reception, which I was surprised that Asante Samuel Jr. ran him down like he did. That led me to believe maybe he's not 100% healthy, but he was saved with 2 touchdowns in week 1, and he's been otherwise just not that good. I mean, we've seen times where a running back is a backup. He comes in spurts and looks better than a starter, and then he gets that opportunity to be the guy, and then he never lives up to it. And I wonder if that's what's happening here. I know the offensive line has been in shambles for the most part throughout the season, but these performances is not what we signed up. I mean, I know I'm complaining, but I mean the guy I think is like RB9 for the season, but that's more of a testament to how bad running back has been as a whole this season, and not how good Tony Pollard's been. He's been a disappointment, plain and simple. And I don't know, like the Chargers was a defense that people run on, and that was supposed to be a get right game for him and the running game as a whole, and it wasn't. The one positive that came out of last night was that because it was a close game, he played his most snaps this season, which is something we can look forward to. Dak missed him on a touchdown throw late in the game.
Yeah.
That could have also made his game look a lot better as well. So, those opportunities come, you miss some, whatever. But overall, I think he's been a disappointment when you think about he was a late first-round pick for a lot of people, early second-round pick. And, I mean, RB9 is cool, but when you look at the performances, it's just not – it's underwhelming to me.
Jamie, what do you think about Mr. Tony Pollard?
Yeah, I mean, his receptions are definitely saving his fantasy weeks. I thought he was going to get 80 some yards last night going against the 26th worst rushing defense in the league. So I actually put a parlay for Pollard to get over 50 and Eckler to get over 50.
Oh, God. We'll get into that. We'll get into the other one in a little bit.
Yeah, that didn't happen. So, yeah, I was disappointed. I don't know. I quit watching the game after a while because I was so mad.
All right, so here's what I have to say about Tony Pollard. I agree with you, Jordan. I was going to bring up. You brought it up. I thought about it. You brought it up, and that was the missed touchdown at the end of the game. To me, yes, he is underperforming. Yes, I 1,000% agree with you about he's got a hitch in the step still. He should have burned Asante Samuel. He should have been able to get to the end zone. It looked like he got into the third gear and the freaking clutch slipped. It was just like he tried to put it in an extra gear, and it was like it almost did like a quick 2-inch backfire and gave enough ground to Asante Samuel. But he's not the big problem. He still is part of the problem, don't get me wrong. But you guys both know where I'm going with. Mike frickin' McCarthy, get your head out of your poop hole and frickin' do a better job. Okay? The play calling, I saw the stat. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember if you saw it I happened to see it on the bottom of the screen, and it kind of made me go, or in the middle of the screen, it just made me go, ooh. It said something, they were comparing the Kellen Moore offense to the McCarthy offense. And the two things that stuck out to me, one was the time of possession is a lot more for McCarthy.
Yep.
However, the offensive efficiency number
was weird.
I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was 23%.
Yeah, and the red zone efficiency, I think it was like 23%. For Kellen Moore, it was 61. I believe.
It was like absolutely asinine how bad the red zone efficiency was. Those are the two numbers in that four box, whatever the other. I don't even remember what the other stats were, but the thing that got me was
it was points per game, it was time of possession, it was red zone efficiency, and I
don't remember the other one, but it just got me with how much time possession they got. Like, okay, yes, they're holding the ball more, they're doing what you need to do, but they're not scoring the damn points, and that's why they're losing games. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, from one team to another, one position to another on the same team, the tight end position has been an enigma for the Cowboys. It's gone after Witten. It went, from one to another, and we have another. Who is it, Jamie? And why do you want to talk about this guy?
It's Jake Ferguson. Obviously, I mean, he's Seen an increase in snaps this last game. He played 55 of 64 snaps, and that's a good sign for fantasy managers going forward. But the only problem is that his targets decreased. Like he caught one target for I don't even know how many yards, but he has seen at least 3 targets in every game and at least 7 targets in 3 of the first games, I believe. Or no, 3 of the first 5 games. He's seen 6 or more. So if Ferguson matches the playing time that he got yesterday and then put that with the targets that he's been getting in the previous games, he's going to end up starting to be a every week start for fantasy managers, and you could probably put him in as a top 10 tight end every week.
Yeah, what do you think, Jordan?
Absolutely. If Dak would funnel some of those targets away from Michael Gallup, which was looking disastrous last night, and kind of give those to Ferguson, I think that would be better for him. I think last night, Cooks played well, so that kind of took away some of the targets maybe from Ferguson. But they're gonna, if they're in games where they actually have to throw the ball instead of just their defense running through people, then Ferguson will be involved. Last night, it doesn't bother me as someone who has Ferguson in a couple leagues. I like the fact that he's playing more. So the targets will be there if he continues to play that amount of snaps.
Yeah, I mean, just like you guys said, I think I agree with everything you said about Ferguson. I'm just waiting for that next. I think we're all waiting for that Cowboys next tight end, because we know eventually they'd like to use the tight end like that, no matter who the position or the coach or system. It's just one of those things. Pittsburgh produces running backs. Certain teams produce wide receivers. It's just like, you got the Bengals. I think they're one of the teams that just produces tight ends. So there's always good and there's always bad when it comes to Monday Night Football. This time, yes, I'm talking about a coach again. And I should have used get his head out of his poop hole for this guy and not waste it on Mike McCarthy. Brandon Staley. Chargers have such a good team. They got the talent on the field. It's not going into the win column like they want it to. If you're going to, you guys both know I'm one of the hardest people on my team. But if you're going to try to keep up in a division like the AFC West, you got to win games like this against Dallas. Yes, I picked Dallas, but I just thought something was going to happen, and it did. One thing that happened, you had Brandon Staley that I thought should have gone for the field goal instead of going for the touchdown on 4th down. Not getting that. You can tell it was a little demoralizing for the team. But Jamie, you brought it up already, not even knowing you were going to bring it up. 26th worst against defense in the run, or since the run on defense.
Yep.
They're also horrible against the pass.
Yep.
They brought in Kellen Moore, who was actually trying to do something on offense. Herbert's having a decent year. I know Eckler didn't have a good game last night at all. That was partly play calling, but it was also partly just trying to get him ramped up after missing that time. Yeah, he had to bye, but still. And it was just game script. They brought Kellen Moore to fix the offense, which means what side of the ball does Brandon Staley run?
The defense.
I think this is going to be the year. I really do, guys. If they don't make the playoffs, adios, Brandon Staley. Kellen Moore is going to become the head coach of the LA Chargers. And the only way I think at this point he can save his season is by getting into the playoffs. Jamie?
I 100% agree. And once he loses his job, he's going to, go play high school? I mean,
he's going to pull Jeff Saturday.
He'll be a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he'll get a job.
Yeah.
But also, I don't even know if making the playoffs saves his job. No. They made the playoffs last year and blew a big lead. So it depends on how they see their season ends. Or if they even have a bad loss in the middle of the season, he does something like goes for it on 4th down in their own territory. Oh, wait. He did that already.
Yep.
So it just so happened that he got saved by that. About like they won that game, so it didn't matter. But yeah, he needs to go.
Yeah, even being a Chiefs fan, I love the weapons on that team, and sometimes I'm just like, really, this team should be better no matter what, but they're not. All right, so it is time for real or fake. Jordan, there's a wide receiver that we have talked about on this show, both badly and positive. Who your real is? Go for it, buddy.
Michael Pittman. I think his performance last week. I mean, he's had two good games against the Jags. Maybe it's just the Jaguars' defense sucks. But now that Gardner Minshew is likely to take over for the rest of the year, I really think Pittman can keep up his production to a wide receiver 2 level. You look at the targets that he had. He had 14 targets. I know they were playing from behind, so there was a lot of throwing. Minshew had to keep chucking it to try to close the gap. But in week 2, when Anthony Richardson missed, he had 12 targets from Minshew in that game as well. So, Minshew's looking for him. Minshew trusts him. The volume is going to be there. They have a tough matchup against Cleveland this week, but moving forward, if you're going to get between 10 and 14 targets a week because the team's going to be trailing a lot of the time, then I mean that's a play I want to have. And I think moving forward, he may not score a lot of touchdowns because I don't think the Colts offense is going to be good enough to score that many. And if they do, it'll likely be the running backs or some short scores to Josh Downs or some like that. But he'll have the receptions and he should have the yards. Really good PPR receiver.
I agree, but Jamie, what do you think about Michael Pittman?
I like him, man. He's the alpha in that receiving core. He's been getting the targets. I believe he's wide receiver 4 on the year for targets, number 8 for receptions. So maybe with Minshew, the targets will be a little more accurate, but he does only have 1 touchdown. But we know that could regress positively. He might end with like 5-6 touchdowns, so he'll get his touchdowns every so often. He hasn't had one since week 1. So there could be one coming, maybe not this week because they're playing the Browns, but going forward, I can see him getting a touchdown here or there.
Yeah, he's not really a big touchdown guy. The most he's had in 4 seasons has been 6. So that I guess that's his ceiling.
I mean, he does get those yards after the catch a lot. So I think he's top 10 in yards after the catch. So who knows? He can take one to the house.
Yeah. That's what he did on the 1 touchdown he actually scored. So.
Yep, for sure. So from a wide receiver to a quarterback, tight end, wide receiver to running back. Who is your fake, Jordan?
He's just a football player, a guy who just plays football. I'm talking about Taysom Hill. I mean, he's one of those guys, you put him on the field, he can do a lot of things. Doesn't really do a lot of things well. He just does a lot of things. And he had a good game receiving, playing tight end. They actually lined him up at tight end because Juwan Johnson and missed the game. So he had several receptions, a lot of targets. Most targets, they actually he played almost a full-time role at tight end, which was good to see, I guess, for the Saints. It helped them out a little bit. But I just don't see this continuing. They have too many other guys they could be throwing the ball to besides Taysom Hill. Juwan Johnson will be back soon. They still have Foster Moreau. They have Jimmy Graham. They have other guys. So I just don't see this being a consistent thing. I was trusted him enough to throw it to him that much, but I don't see that continuing.
Okay. This is why I will only draft Taysom Hill in best ball, because you're 100% right. He's going to do this. Don't try to put money in Vegas on what weeks it's going to be.
Yes.
It's going to be that weird. There's going to be players. There's going to be, with Juwan out. Yeah, I get it. Them putting him in formation and having freaking Carr run out wide or get off the field or whatever. It's Taysom Hill. It's always going to happen. The problem is you don't know what against who it could be, where there could be a game plan to get him more involved because He rushes better to the left, and they don't guard the left side. The defense stinks, or whatever the case may be. Yes, I agree with you that he's going to have 1 or 2 or 3 of these weeks left in the year. But is it week 10? Is it week 13? Is it week 17? Who knows? We'll never know. I think it's more game plan dependent on Carr liking Taysom Hill, and that's why it stinks, is because that's the reason, if he likes a receiver or doesn't like a receiver, why that would happen.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, it is your turn, and who is your real? Because this player, just like a player earlier in the show, was mentioned on this show from the start of his NFL career. I mean, even his draft career. So go ahead.
It's Zay Flowers from the Baltimore Ravens. Right now, he's got double-digit fantasy points in every game except for an 8-point game he had. He got his first touchdowns this last week. I think he ended the week as wide receiver 14. He got 17.1 fantasy points in full PPR. I had him boldly as my top 10. I had him ranked number 10 this week. I thought he was going to get 17.7 points, and I was so close. But I'll take that as a win. This year, he's been a solid number 2 receiver. He's wide receiver 22 on the year right now, and he's been seeing 29% target share, playing 90% of the snaps. And that's what we like to see for a top receiver. And he's been seeing deep targets. He's been seeing red zone targets. He only has 1 drop on the year. His efficiency numbers are all good. I think he's top 10 in target separation, and he's top 10 in total routes won. So he's winning them routes. Like, he's becoming a must start in fantasy as a wide receiver 2 flex play every week. Like, I'm putting him in my lineup, not even thinking about it. And he's only a rookie. Rookies end up taking some time. They start getting going at the second half of the year. So just imagine what his ceiling could be if he gets better as the year goes on.
100%. 100% agree. We've talked about Zay several times on the show, and every time, we just talked about his explosiveness and like the way he can move and get open. The most important thing about him compared to guys in the receiving core is he's been healthy. Bateman is off and on the field. Odell's been off and on the field. He's been the only even Mark Andrews was banged up. So Zay has been the only constant for Lamar, and Lamar has been peppering him with targets, and Zay's been delivering it. And I see that trust and that chemistry continuing to build, and I like Zay a lot. I wish I would have had more of them, but definitely firmly in the wide receiver 2 conversation with the upside to be a wide receiver 1 in some weeks.
Absolutely. And so, Jamie, back to New Orleans. Let's battle.
All right. So Rashid Shaheed. The past 3 weeks, he's only seen around 5 fantasy points a game. He's only getting about 47%. I know it's less than 50% of the snaps, and he's only seen a 13% target share. Yesterday, he had 6 targets, only caught 2 of them, but that 1 touchdown saved his fantasy game and made him a top 12 receiver this week. So, like week 1, he also caught those 6 targets, or he had 6 targets and a touchdown, and that's when he had his big game. So he's more of a best ball play. You don't know when you're going to put him in. You don't know when he's going to score those points. And it's just too unpredictable for me to put him in my lineup. So unless it's the best ball team, I don't want anything to do with Shaheed.
All right. So I'm going to agree with you and disagree with you. I agree with you that his unpredictable and all that, and I would rather have him be a best ball talent kind of guy. Unlike Taysom Hill, where I absolutely can't predict it. I know you can't completely predict it either, but here's the problem. With bye weeks and injuries coming up, I know that he is that type of player that in one random league, he is going to give somebody that random week, and it's probably going to be against me, where he gets 18 points and I lose by 3.
Well, let me know when you're playing against him. I'll put him in my lineup.
Okay. So he's that kind of player. I agree that you don't want to play him, but there are going to be times that you are going to have to play him. But so that's why I say I disagree. I do agree that it's hard to predict them, but there are going to be times where I'm okay playing them in those weeks that, like, say, I don't have anything and it's an upside move. Maybe I projected to lose and I need to make a move to get that win.
Yeah, it's the one thing that caught my eye was 13% target share, only playing 40-some% of snaps, and I can't trust that.
Whenever it's a game that the Saints will be trailing in and they need a deep shot, he'll produce at that
That's
point.
the thing.
You would think that would be Olave, though. He had those air yards last year.
Yeah, but different quarterback too.
Yeah, true.
All right, so I know you're here. I knew you'd be late because that's you, but I know you are here. Hi guys. I skipped one on purpose. I'll get back to it. Hi guys from Kyle. What is up, Kyle?
Gator, what's up, Gator?
And here we go. Why y'all gonna be so loud? Because I want to be. I haven't even gotten loud for a reason yet, Gator, and you know that, sir. All right, so for my reel, and no, it's not exactly where you think I'm probably going or hoping I'm going, Jamie, so you can go against me. It's Adam, old man, hooked on a Thielen. Thielen. Yes, he was the number 2 wide receiver this week. He was in half-point PPR. He had 28.5 points, only behind ARSB, the cover boy, right, Jamie?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I do think he's going to keep this up. Not saying top 5 like that. What I'm saying is he is going to keep up the production for the Carolina Panthers. I think this is a target of Bryce Young's. It's not just weekly fluke, a couple weeks here. I think this is going to continue. I think he's going to end up as a top 15 wide receiver for the year. And that's what I mean by continue. I just think this is going to continue. He's going to be their number 1 tight end or wide receiver by the end of the year, and it's going to stick for the rest of the season. 15, maybe a little bit lower, but he's definitely going to be sitting as a WR2. To me, he's already a must start in 3 wide receiver leagues, probably close to in 2 wide receiver leagues as of right now. Jamie, what do you think?
Yeah, similar to Michael Pittman, man. Like, he's been seeing targets. He's number 6 in targets, and he's number 3 in receptions. So that's even better because he's catching what's being thrown. He is getting touchdowns also. I believe he has 4 in a year. That surprised me is he's getting a lot of slot
snaps.
Yeah, slot snap. And so do you think it's just the position that Bryce Young's targeting, or is it actually Thielen that's getting open?
I think it's I think it's him getting the separation, but I think it's also the position. I think it's the position that he plays plus the separation.
Yeah,
like if you had a receiver playing the slot that can't get the separation, I don't think whoever's playing that position gets the target share.
Yeah, because he's not getting a lot of deep targets, but he does get a lot of like the yards after the catch. He's getting tons of it. So they just keep funding him the ball. I think you're right. He's going to be a top 15 guy at the end of the year.
Exactly, and that's what I just have this.
Unless they actually bring someone else in.
Yeah, and there are those rumors, but I just don't see why they would do that now. They already got rid of their first round pick, so they're not going to go get someone that's going to cost them a first. There's been rumors of Hollywood Brown. There's been some other rumors, Jerry Judy's on the chopping block, Cortland's in the So, and I wouldn't do it. I think it's a dumb move to do it at this point, but we'll see. It is Carolina. They've done some dumb stuff before. All right, so for my fake, it is Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 8.9 fantasy points, 80% snap share, 43rd wide receiver, 10 targets, 4 catches, 49 yards, and guess what? 0 freaking touchdowns. He had he had 3 touchdowns in the beginning of the year, 1 in each game. The last 2 games he had in week 4, 0 touchdowns. Week 5, bye week 6, had another 0 touchdown performance. I don't think this is going to continue. That's why I'm saying it is a fake performance. I do think that there are going to be those weeks where he is a lower guy, but when you look at it in week 1, WR13, week 2, WR3, week 3, this is half point, WR21. So he was a top 24 wide receiver for the first 3 weeks, and then yes, down to 54 and 43. I get that. However, I don't think this is continue. I think Baker went up against a good pass rush. It was a rough game for both teams at certain points. I think he can turn his season back around, and I do think this is a fake performance. Jordan, right, wrong, or indifferent?
I think you're right. And then we got to factor in week 4 against the Saints, he left the game early.
Yep.
So like that doesn't even really count too much. He had 10 targets on Sunday. You'll take that from a guy like him any week. So the volume was still there. It's not like they went away from him. He's still getting more targets than Chris Godwin or anybody on that team for that matter. So yeah, I don't see this continuing. He'll probably get back on track. I mean, playing Atlanta, then they have Buffalo, so he'll have a chance to get some touchdowns or a touchdown in one of those games, and we won't be worried about him again.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that was real or fake. So now it is time for the host section of the evening. Jordan, what randomness of the Midwest do you have for us this week?
Just seeing Justin Fields go down, it just made me think about the quandary that the Bears have and decisions that they still have to make. I mean, as constructed, they'll have a top pick in the draft. They also have Carolina's pick, which will be a top pick in the draft. With Fields getting injured, I know he had started coming on. Do they want to trade the pick or one of the top picks? Do they want to keep Fields? What are they going to do with that? They'll have a chance to possibly get Marvin Harrison Jr. to add to whatever quarterback they decide. Will that be Fields? He's shown his flashes, but I mean, I just don't know if you pass up a guy like Caleb Williams. So I just wonder what the Bears are going to do. I don't think he's going to miss too much time with the dislocated thumb. I know he tried to go back and play last week, just couldn't grip the ball. He's out this week for sure, but who knows? Maybe next week he comes back. What do you do if you're the Bears? And I just wonder, like, they've made some dumb decisions before, so it wouldn't be surprising for them to make whatever that wrong decision is. I don't know what they should do, but I'm just wondering with the 2 top picks they have. I guess you try to flip. If you believe in Fields, you flip it for a lot of stuff, and then you draft for another receiver. If you don't believe in Fields, you obviously got to take the quarterback. And I just wonder what's they're thinking in the front office right now, as their season is pretty much over right now, whether Fields was healthy or not. But for sure they'll lose, and their running backs are all hurt and all this. So I just don't know what they'll do.
Jamie, what do you think, real quick, and then
real quick, I think they'll probably draft a quarterback and then sell Fields. But for this year, with Fields being out, I made a joke in the beginning of the season that you have a guy that can hand the ball off to himself for 150-yard touchdowns. He could throw 300-yard bombs to himself, running down the field, catch the ball, touchdown for 300 yards, and that's Roschon Johnson.
Oh my God.
Man, if Roschon falls flat on his face,
It's not going to happen.
You're going to have a lot of explaining to do.
You are going. Okay, you have. Okay, we've had people jump on wagons for players or jump on teams on every podcast that we have ever watched. It happens. But no bandwagon, single-seated bandwagon is bigger than the Roschon Johnson bandwagon that you have created for yourself.
I don't think Mrs. Johnson, his mother, or if he has a wife, has as much confidence in him
Sorry,
as you do.
Wisconsin. He's for real.
Like you would think, like I wondered if you thought Roshan was better than Bijan or something.
No, I thought he was right behind him. But
Okay. So for what I think about Chicago, real quick, Fields was not drafted by this coaching staff, correct?
Correct.
yep.
Hands down, if they do, suck it up, blow it. Danny, my buddy from work, if you're watching this, I apologize. If they blow it this year and become the number one pick, who knows? Carolina can blow it. They could become the number one pick. Chicago could have number 3, and they could end up with a wide receiver and a running back or quarterback. Who knows? They could have a combination. But my whole point is, how can anyone pass up number 1 Caleb Williams when he comes out? I'm sick of the bullshit that says he's not coming out if only 5 teams draft him. He's coming out. He's going to make the money.
Yep.
He's also going to make the money, and he's going to be that young guy that's going to end up getting the commercials that Baker Mayfield left when he went by. He's going to get some of those, I think, too.
Oh, here's a quick question before we move on.
Yeah.
The Bears traded away the number 1 pick, obviously, to get DJ Moore last year. Would they have been better off if they would have drafted CJ Stroud? Well, I guess with the weapons that they had, they would have been terrible, but because they wouldn't have had DJ Moore, they would have just had Stroud with Mooney.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you rather? So what you're saying is, would you rather have the combination of DJ Moore and Fields, or Stroud and Mooney?
I'd rather have Moore and Fields.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, it's just Moody hasn't proven himself this year.
I guess I'm just thinking about it from a talent standpoint. Like, take DJ Moore out of it. Would you rather have Stroud or Fields?
Yeah. I get what you mean. Because you trade the pick away, and then you might even get it back. Like it's so weird.
Right. If you're drafting a quarterback this year, I mean, I guess Caleb is probably better than Stroud, but you're
not. But I don't think you'd be in that predicament either.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, it's just been such a beat show that you just don't know what it can turn into. So, Jamie, do you know what time it is, buddy?
Yeah.
Win us some money.
So I couldn't figure out what to do for this Thursday game.
I know this week.
Real quick, if you just want to do something there, Kamara anytime touchdown. That's what I got. But I saw something that caught my attention. So it seems like every team of the week that wins or whatever, the following week they end up losing. So, for example, the Lions beat the Chiefs, right? Week 2 they lost. Baltimore came out and they're like, everyone's like, oh, Lamar's back. Everyone's talking about Lamar being back. They came out and they lost the next week. Dolphins, that 70-point game, they lost to the Bills. The Bills, the next game, they lose to the Jaguars. And then week 5, like people were talking about the 49ers dominating the Cowboys, right? What did they do the following week? They lost to the Browns.
So who is it this year week?
So this week I was looking, I saw that the Jets won, right? But they're on bye week. So I can't really do anything about that, but the Browns beating the 49ers, right? So everyone's talking the Browns. So this week, the Browns are going to come out. They're going to lose. They're playing the Colts at the Colts, right? But they are actually favored to win, which is crazy. And so I'm taking the money line on the Colts, adding it to the under 39 points, and it's at a plus 280. So I put $20 on it, and I'll win $76 if the Colts win straight up and they keep it under 39 points.
The Browns defense too good. I can't.
But I mean, their offense ain't that great right now with PJ Walker. They got Chubb out.
Yeah, true. But
I mean, Lamar lit us up.
True, and the Colts did beat the Ravens, so it's possible.
Oh,
I mean, but I do get what you're saying. Every time that somebody has a big win one week, the next week they have a letdown, and that would be the Browns getting due for. They beat an undefeated team. They could have a letdown against a team that they should beat.
All right, so Jamie or
Don't,
Kyle
don't let
says
don't let
Jamie
Junior
all the
fool you, Kyle.
Cowboys.
Pick the Chargers.
Yeah, so Kyle, he picked the Chargers on our show.
Yeah, I did. I picked Cowboys.
All right.
Oh,
So he guess what? He's doing what he's doing now. He hedges his bet.
Yeah.
Also, thanks for joining the Monday Night Show. Okay. Don't be one of those Cowboy fans or Niner fans, please, CR, please. I know he's going off about the Niners. All right, so here we go. All right, let's see. Kyle says, to be fair, he also admitted, yeah, you did, okay. As long as you admitted it last night, you're golden.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
And yes, hedging.
Well, when I did pick the Chargers, I forgot I even picked the Chargers.
I bet you did. Oh, I know. All right, so let's just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yes, let's get it.
Philadelphia Eagles lost to what team? They ain't lose to the Niners. They ain't lose to the Cowboys. They didn't even lose to the division rival New York Giants. They lost to Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. Yes, I'm being joking and serious at the same time because they absolutely lost not to Zach Wilson and the damn Jets. Jets, Jets. They lost to Robert Saleh and the New York Jets defense. They didn't lose to the offense. We all know that. That's just the way it is. But this is what I wanted to pull up real quick. I had it up, but my phone is being dumb. Okay. For Jalen Hurts, 280 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 47 rushing yards, and a TD. A.J. Brown had 7 receptions for 131 yards. They lost 20-14. Fantasy-wise, great. They did good. I get it. But what we brought up earlier in the year, Jordan, we both brought it up. Me and you both brought it up on back-to-back shows for different reasons.
Passing game.
I still think this offense and passing game in general is not clicking. This game exposed it. I forget who it was on ESPN, so I'm not going to quote the person. If you guys know who it is, you can say it. Some person said that they made Jalen Hurts look like a horrible quarterback. I'm not saying that. I can't remember the exact words, but it was bad. It was like almost college-esque. And it wasn't that bad, but did they expose? I think that Nick Sirianni had more to do with this offense now than I think I anticipated at the beginning of the season. I'm surprised I am saying that. Yes, the 49ers also lost to the hapless Browns. Sorry, Jamie, but also congratulations, Jamie, because your team actually pulled it out with PJ frickin' Walker.
No one expected that.
No one.
Nobody.
But if I have to say which loss is worse out of those two, both teams lost their O. No team has an O anymore. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. This loss hurts more for the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion. And if they don't get this passing game fixed soon, Jamie's prediction of the Niners, I know it's not the exact way we were thinking, but Jamie's prediction of the Niners making the Super Bowl is going to happen. Philadelphia, if you want to make it for Jason Kelsey's last year in the NFL, if you haven't seen, I know, no sponsor promo, but if you haven't seen the documentary on Amazon Prime about Jason Kelsey, go do it. It's an awesome doc. But if you're not going to try to win for this guy now, it ain't going to happen. Jamie, I can see you nodding your head. Take it away.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. They need to do something, especially when they had Sauce Gardner out. DJ Reed was out. I thought they were going to just pass all over them. I don't know what happened. I put a parlay on something with Devonta Smith and Brown, and didn't happen.
So basically, what you're saying is, I need to know your bets before the week starts.
Yeah. I lose more than I win, but I always break even or come out a little bit ahead.
Awesome. And Jordan, what do you think about Philly?
So the only thing I don't agree with your rant was you said no team has an O. That's incorrect. Carolina. Carolina has an O just in the other column. But nah. We've been talking about it, like we said, man, and as of now, I think it seems like if the 49ers, all they have to do is stay healthy and they'll be in the Super Bowl. I don't see anybody being as complete as them and with the defense and the offense. So, I wonder if it's 1 week AJ Brown's complaining and then he starts to get all the targets, and then now they've left Devontae Smith out in the cold, and I wonder if it was so much trying to cater to the big money guy and the big trade asset that they've kind of disrupted the offense a little bit. I know Dallas Goedert was not involved for the first couple of weeks, so they just need to figure that out, and hopefully they do, but Jalen Hurts has thrown way too many interceptions. He's thrown more or almost more in the first 6 games than he had all last season. So they need to get that taken care of. Otherwise, I don't see them beating Dallas. We'll see.
And I agree with that. Jamie, I know we talked about it, but what do you think about the Niners in general? Do you think they're as strong, or what do you think about the Niners' chances?
But for going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, do you think they've gotten better, or do you think they're what they were? I know you were on them in the beginning, but I'm just saying overall.
Yeah, no, I even had a little conversation with Jeff on this last week in a chat, and I was like, they're going to go 17-0. But obviously that didn't happen. No, I said if they were, they had to get past those 3 games with the Eagles and the Seahawks, both games. And if you look at those 3 games, those are the only hard games that you could see them losing all year long. Maybe week 18 when they face the Rams because they might sit all their players. But besides that, that's 4 losses right there. If they split with the Seahawks.
Jordan.
I still have concerns about Purdy and when the 49ers actually need him to make plays. But, other than that, I don't really have many question marks about them as a whole.
So, you could put Mac Jones in that offense. So
okay. I'm going to mute you so freaking fast. I don't need your mouth to yap right now. What I need from you is your other greatest job that you do. You need to promote. Oh, come on. There it goes.
Yeah, hit that QR code.
Today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out industry-leading best ball leagues, huge tournaments, private leagues, and pick'ems for every major sport. Sign up with our promo code GF2 and get a deposit match up to $100. It's as simple as that. Sign up, use promo code GF2, and you can start drafting your teams now. They do the best balls for the week. They do the snakes for the week, right, Jamie?
Yes, sir.
They do the pick'ems higher, lower, and they have other stuff, not just football. So go ahead and do that. Speaking of people we want to pick higher, lower, there are going to be some waiver wire ads that you are going to want to make. I have to go through all of my leagues. Still haven't done a single league. So that's going to take up some time tonight because I'm a degenerate. Jordan, take it away.
This is a guy I didn't have to even mention at any point this season unless an injury occurred. Because I thought Jahan Dotson would be so great that we wouldn't be talking about this. Curtis Samuel is somebody that people should look to pick up, and on Sleeper he's only rostered at 51%, so still out there in 49% of leagues. So he's been good the last several weeks as Jahan Dotson has kind of fell to the wayside. He's getting targets, but just not doing anything with them. So, Sam Howell, it seems like they're in a shootout every week or struggling or fighting to stay in a game. So he's been throwing a lot. He's looking at Sam. He's looking at Logan Thomas, and so in an offense like that, he's getting steady targets. They're relying on him more and more. He's kind of usurped Dodson in the pecking order, it seems. So yeah, go out and pick him up. And one extra guy is a rookie tight end that's starting to blossom, and it's not Dalton Kincaid. It's Michael Mayer with the Raiders. Even with Beer taking over last week, he still had a big game. He had a career high in week 5, and then followed that up with another career high in week 6. So he's trending up, and that's what you want to see. I know they still have Devontae and Jacoby Myers, but Mayer could fall into that third option on another team that's always well, not always trailing, because they beat the Packers and whatnot, but a team that likes to throw. They've been throwing it down the field and stuff like that. So yeah, if you need a tight end with that bad as the position has been, you can take a chance on the rookie as well.
Jamie, what do you think about either one of those two guys?
Yes, Samuel, man, I've been playing him in one of my dynasty leagues the past 2 weeks, just because of injuries and bye weeks. But I like that call. If he's out there, go pick him up. I still do have hope for Dotson, but we'll see.
I want to respond to that when we're done.
I know.
One thing with Mara I noticed is that his snap share increased from I forgot what numbers were, but it jumped up like 20% in 1 week. So I love that call, man. They're going to start using him more, and he's NFL ready.
I'll bring that back up, Jordan. I 100% about Mayer. I had Mayer a little bit higher than I thought he was. Kincaid was my 1, but I had Mayer as my number 2. I know Laporta is Laporta now, but I just had him as number 2. I thought he was going to be a bigger part of the offense earlier in the season, like right off jump. Not saying he was going to be like a top 5 tight end, but I just thought he was going to be more involved in the offense, partly because I did not think Jacoby Myers was. But I think this is a start of something, and even if it's Hoyer that gets them going, maybe this is something that they could sustain in the future, knowing, about that. Jamie, why don't you give us yours?
If you didn't catch the show last night, I brought it up briefly. Me and Kyle talked about it, but it's Chuba Hubbard. With Sanders out, he had 76.5% of the snaps. He had 19 carries, 88 yards, touchdown. The only problem is right now that the Panthers are going on their bye week, and then Sanders could return week 8, but it's also not out of the realm of possibilities that Hubbard can earn that lead role, or at worst, keep splitting the backfield with them. He's more efficient than them. He could be a flex play every week, and it's got that insurance that if Sanders does go down, he'll see those 20 carries, 75% of snaps.
100%.
If you have the room. Yeah. I know it's tough with the week 6, or the week 7.
The bye weeks.
Yeah, if you make it, and someone's going to end up dropping them too, just to fill out that injury or whatever.
And that's the best part of if you have the room, he's on a bye, you don't have to pay much for him. People are not even thinking about him because he's on a bye.
They're not even going to look at that. They're going to look at that projected point only. All right. So, Jordan, this is all yours. Me and him have gone over this in work. So I want you to I'll read it out and you give me what you got. It's unbelievable how much people still doubt Brock, because that's exactly how he wanted me to word it.
You're right. So the thing about Brock Purdy is this, like Jamie said, you put Mac Jones in and they'd still win the Super Bowl. I believe that. Like I believe that they would be just as good with mac and cheese. So
not just as good,
even better.
Well, yeah, probably better. That's true. Shanahan is a genius. They're scheming guys wide open. All I'm saying is that I want to see it. I want to see Brock in a situation like he was in a situation on Sunday against Cleveland. They needed him to get in field goal range. On the first play of the drive, he should have threw a pick. The guy dropped it.
Okay, let me ask
So
you this though. I understand that and we're not changing the subject. Cleveland is a awesome defense. Jamie, how much do you accredit that to your defense or Brock?
I mean, a little bit of both. I think it was more the defense because they were able to take away the number one receiver.
yeah,
I know
and like
Ayuk still got his. I think Emerson's the guy that was covering him, so that's why we just kept hitting him with that second-year cornerback we have.
So
And I
Jordan,
don't I don't think because I didn't think because if he wouldn't have got it done, I didn't think he was a bust or a fluke or
no,
anything.
yeah.
But I just want it's hard, it's easy or not for a quarterback it's easy, when you're scheming guys wide open, your defense is controlling the game and you got Christian McCaffrey and all these guys around you. And so he had his weapons got hurt. He had a regular game for a regular quarterback. Mac and Cheese doesn't even have weapons, and he doesn't perform, but he has all these weapons. And so I want to see him in situations where you gotta show me you can win the game and just not lose it. And I feel like that's kind of what he's been able to do, just play from it all the time. And I just want to see him come from behind. He put the drive together, and the guy missed the field goal. That's not his fault.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I just want to see a little bit more from him in the playoffs.
And I say the same thing to CR every day at work when he gives me crap about that. He was also the biggest Trey Lance guy, so he's just going because he's a Niner. And now, I mean, I know he liked him, right when he was like, all right, let's see who this guy is, and he was like, hey, even the first two games, like, okay, I like this kid, but yeah, now he's like, oh, you got to love him. All right, so before I go to my take, would y'all trade DK and Eckler? So DK Metcalf and Austin Eckler. Okay, I have a question for you boys after this question now because this got brought up. DK Metcalf and Eckler for Diggs in London. I have Kyron, Swift, and Pacheco for other RBs. And my wide receivers are just kind of unreliable except for Devontae. So you would get DK. So he's going to trade DK and Eckler because he has running back. He has Kyron, Swift, and Pacheco to get Diggs in London because all he really has is Devontae. Jamie?
I don't know, man, because Kyron's not healthy. I don't like him anyway. He's too small, slow. He's that satellite back playing the workhorse role. I don't think I would do this, man. I know it would be nice to have Diggs, but you have DK too, so you're downgrading a little bit from Diggs. But no, I wouldn't do that. I'd keep Eckler.
I wouldn't do that either. The gap between Eckler and London is gargantuan compared to the gap between Diggs and DK. I wouldn't do it. And like you said, the running back Kyron is not healthy, and you don't know what you're going to get from Pacheco on a weekly basis. And so, kind of with Swift sometimes as well. Keep Eckler at game, but don't sell him low because that's essentially what you would be doing in this deal.
Yes, that is. I agree with the guys. Do not make this deal. So I'm in a league, and I got an offer right before the show. That's why I am bringing this up. With the median, I am 7-5. Right in fifth place, going for the playoff hunt. My wide receivers are Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley. I know he's your favorite of all time, Jamie. It's a 2 flex team. Chris Godwin and Josh Downs are right now on my starting lineup. My wide receivers are Jamison Williams, who's not doing much. Laviska Shenault, boo 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 boo. Zacchaeus, boo 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 boo. Kyle, this is a deep league.
I can tell.
Kyle Phillips, Jalen Tolbert, and Khalil Shakir. Okay. I asked a guy about Tyler Lockett and London. He's in 11th place, 2-10, but likes to trade. His offer is, I like Waddle. Here is my offer. I wasn't even thinking about getting rid of Waddle. Like, I got Waddle and DJ Moore as my top two, and my third is Ridley with
What?
Downs and what do you
Got
call
it.
it?
Yeah.
He offers me, and there is some IDP, so it's a 6-round rookie draft, Jamie. It's Dynasty. Lockett, London, and a 24 fourth is what I'd be getting for Waddle and a 24 third.
Nope. I'm not getting rid of Waddle for that.
I don't see how I can accept that. Like,
No. Because so he said it was London Waddle.
London, Lockett, and a fourth
London,
for
Lockett.
Waddle
No,
and a third.
no way. Because London right now, I don't even. You could probably get a late first for London, maybe. Lockett's like a late second, and a fourth. I'm not giving up a first, second, and a fourth to get it.
Yeah.
No way.
I'm not dropping Zacchaeus, and it's not the best name in football. All right, so we have another question specifically for Jordan this time. Jordan, what's your expectation of Jordan Love this Sunday? He only had 1,200, or he only had one 250-yard game so far. Will he go over that 250 benchmark? Yes or no?
Who are they
No.
playing?
Denver.
Oh yeah.
I don't think so.
Huh?
I don't think so. Just only because like he's one of those guys right now who's not gonna go with the big yardage. He's like a 225, 250, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like 245. So I don't know. I don't think he goes over 250. I hope he goes over 250 with 3 touchdowns, but I think he'll be around 240 with like 2.
Well, that's close enough.
I
Yeah,
agree, Kyle. I'm not doing it, but it was just funny that I thought that, and I'm like, let me just reiterate that to everybody else because it ain't happening.
Playing Denver, I'm actually glad because I have Jaden Reed. I have to start this week in my flex.
I would love for Aaron Jones to get out there because I want to start him as well. But
Yeah.
if this lingers, I don't even know, even if he does play, how much he's gonna actually get snaps. So.
Well, and it seems like AJ Dillon is just not being the guy that they need him to be either.
He's just not good.
Those thighs are good for one thing, and that's holding the food that he eats, not freaking.
Taking pictures. I don't know, but
all right. So for my waiver wire ad, Kyron Williams supposed to miss this week. Zach Evans is going to get the carries. Get Zach Evans. I know there's people about Ronnie Rivers, but Ronnie Rivers is a role player. They don't want to give that. They want to see what they have with Zach Evans. He was a Jamie will remember this because he follows it like I do to an extent. At first, he was a draft darling. Everyone loved him. All the analytic guys liked him. The film guys liked him. You know, went from originally at TCU, then went to Ole Miss, got beat out by the freshman last year, Judkins. Still had some good workouts. Everyone thought he was going, and Ronnie is dinged up. But so he went to Ole Miss. He will get the carries. He should have a decent game. So he is one that you definitely have to go check out. One that I know you guys are going to yell at me just because we already got into this argument before about this team. There's something telling me that Kendrick Bourne is cutting out that role as the number one wide receiver for that team. I know he had a few weeks of boo-boo, poo-poo, garbage, top 50 performances at wideout. He had a good performance this week. He had 11 targets. I do think that's going to continue. Not out of the fact that he is a great player and he should have got paid, blah, 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 blah. They don't have anyone. They got Juju Smith, who I'm still waiting for his knee to explode, okay? I'm still waiting. They got Mike Gesicki, who I don't think they use correct. Pisses me off.
Where's he been?
He hasn't been anywhere, and it's driving me nuts. They got Hunter Henry. They got what's his name? They got Tyquan Thornton. They don't have anyone. So I think Kendrick Bourne, and I'd be remiss as a it depends what happens with CMC. But question. If CMC does not play on Monday night, which is the running back that you would rather have? Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason?
Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell, man. I like Mitchell.
You don't, because it's weird. Everyone's talking about Jordan Mason, and I'm like, why are you guys forgetting about Elijah Mitchell?
Is Mitchell healthy, 100%?
He played last week, but he was coming back. He hadn't practiced enough, so they worked him in slowly. But they asked Kyle Shanahan after the game if he was, or right after some point after the game, if he was comfortable with Mason being a starter if CMC missed the game, and he just started talking about Elijah Mitchell. So I think that they are both going to get some work, but I think Mitchell would be the guy.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
So, what do y'all think? Just quickly on Zach. They signed Royce Freeman up.
Yeah. Oh man, I used to be so high on Royce Freeman back in Denver.
Bro, no. And then they're talking about Darrell Henderson is on the practice squad. His familiarity with the offense. I don't know what to do with the Rams running backs. And I know this year they've been using one guy pretty much for the most part. So.
Yeah, no, I think they're going to give Evans a chance, and there's even a shot when Kyron does come back. I mean, if Evans showing up, they're going to have.
You just hate Kyron.
Well, this is what I don't get, okay? And I'm going to bring this up before we talk about our picks of the week, real quick, before we go off air. I don't care for Kyron either, and that's great. But you can't love Kyron, or you can't not like Kyron. But the guy, you have Madison last week, and the guy who's not beating out Madison is the guy that freaking came because of.
He couldn't beat out Kyron.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
You said it last week. Oh, it's so bad. All right, so for picks of the week, because Jamie decided to split his picks with both shows on Going for Two Network, go like and subscribe and comment. Going for Two Live. The scoreboard is all even, boys, after week 6. We are all dead even now because me and Jordan had the Cowboys last night. So we are tied up. So let's go to this week's teams.
All right.
I will start with Jordan. It is Jacksonville Jaguars against the New Orleans Saints. Are you picking your home state team, sir?
As much as this pains me, Trevor's banged up, so yeah, I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah.
Where are you going, Jamie?
I'm going Saints also with Trevor not healthy.
Lone Wolf here. I am going with the Jaguars, baby.
We got some tough games to pick this
because
week.
I know because of ETN, he is going to have 2 touchdowns, and I am going to piggyback off of Jamie. I 100% agree with Jamie that Kamara is an anytime touchdown, but I am going to say ETN is an anytime
ETN is coming. He is coming home, so
yeah, he is from Louisiana. Is he from New Orleans or just Louisiana?
No, he's from Jennings, which is like a couple hours away from New Orleans.
New Orleans? Okay. I just didn't know. I knew he was from the state. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't sure where he was
close
from.
to like Lake Charles, which is like closer to the Texas state line.
Okay. So the next two games are actually big games, and I think you guys will agree primetime is actually doing good for us on Sunday. And
Yep.
I'm glad I'm not at my brother's wedding yet because I will actually be able to watch this game at home. The Miami Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles. Jamie, you start.
This was a tough one for me, man. But the Eagles were just so bad last week. Eagles are also really bad against the outside receivers. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Dolphins taking home to win.
Hoo-hoo. Okay, I did not see that coming from
I'm
you.
going Dolphins as well. I think Tua put some points on the board, and we just talked about that passing offense not getting it in gear. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up.
Well, I'm going to agree with you guys for the same reasons that we talked about earlier, and that is Miami's passing game is on fire, and the Eagles' passing game is on lukewarm. So that is definitely where I am going there. So for this next game, we have two questionable players right now in Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. We have no Justin Jefferson. We got Kirko on primetime. We got Jordan's buddy, Brock Purdy, who we need to see a little more from, and I agree with him. I want to see it in this type of game with, this is the type of game we need. If they have to perform, this is the type of game it could be. Jordan, you got the Niners or you got
Yeah,
the Vikings?
Niners. The
Sweet.
Jamie?
defense, even if Purdy doesn't play well, the defense is going to get to Kirk. So
Well, I think you guys know what I'm about to say, and that is Niners.
Yeah.
Because even if Purdy Purdy has an okay game, or even if I know there was other reasons for it last week. It was a division game. It was in Chicago. It was windy, all that jazz. I still just need to see it without Justin. I know that it should happen. I'm not like he's going to do great, but Kirko was doing so good that if he's in the middle, I'm expecting him instead of being fantasy 4, fantasy 5, if he can finish fantasy 8 to 10, I think we'll still be in good faith there. Let's go to the chat a little bit before we jump off. Rigged. Jamie, Hunt was was anomaly last week, right? Question mark. Or will Ford regain better fantasy value than Hunt this week?
It's going to be Ford going forward. I think he just got the touchdown, right? And that's what put him up with the fantasy points.
Yep.
I know he's been seeing a little bit more work, but no, Ford's the guy.
All right, so we have another one from YouTube. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you are new. Gorilla Kid 47. First time here, fellas. How's it going, my man? With Deontay coming off the IR, which I have this in a couple leagues as well. Out of Ford, Dell. Okay, you're new to the crew. Hold on, let me finish. Okay, Gorilla, I'm gonna read your comment in a sec. There's a reason we're laughing. If you are new to the crew, this gentleman on the bottom, I'm going to read the question. There's one person on this list that he has the biggest man crush and he loves this guy more than the player's own mama. So I'm going to read the question, Jamie. But when I get to his name, you can say it in any way, shape, or form you want to, and then I will continue the rest of the comment. First time here, fellas, with Deontay coming off IR, out of Ford, Tank Dell, or
Roshan Johnson.
who do I drop? These are bench players for me. Jamie, out of Ford and Dell, who are you dropping?
Don't make me say this. Don't make me say it.
Okay, Jamie is dropping Jerome Ford.
No.
Oh, Dell?
I don't want to drop either of them, man.
I know, but if you have to,
oh, you
or you
dropping
dropping
Roshan?
Deontay,
You
or
dropping Roshan?
you can drop Roshan.
It depends on what your team looks like. Who's your other running backs? Well, if you got Deontay coming back, I guess Dell is okay to drop. But
Okay.
I wouldn't drop the Bears' best running back.
Okay, let's go to the actual person that will answer this.
I'll say if this is the worst three options, then I would drop Tank.
Yeah, I'm going with Tank as well. Joseph Wilding, your question, your comment. Let's put it up real quick if I can get my finger your work. Sorry, quick question. Do not be sorry about a question. We will answer it
We love
for you
questions.
for sure. I
Love
traded Thielen for Puka and already regret it. Did I mess up? No, I
No.
don't think you messed up. I think there will be regression on both. I think Puka will. I don't think it's a. I think Puka was going to regress from his hot start, but I did not think that they were going to totally push them out of the pecking order.
So
Jordan,
like, oh,
or go ahead,
Yeah,
Jamie.
I was gonna, yeah, go ahead, man.
no, I don't think he made a mistake. Thielen obviously has struggled with injuries, and he has a rookie quarterback that's throwing him the ball, so that's bound to regress a little bit. And there's so many factors that goes into why I don't think Thielen could keep this up compared to Puka. And I know Puka had a bad game, but I mean, the targets were there. He dropped the touchdown. He got tackled at the one a couple times, so I wouldn't be down on Puka too much as well.
Jamie.
Yeah, and we talked about Thielen earlier. Like right now, he's what, wide receiver 5 on the year or something like that.
Something like
And we
that.
think he's going to end about 15, 20-ish.
Yeah.
So there's going to be regression there. Puka, I still have in my top 10 rest of the season.
Yes, I mean I'm okay. You're okay. It's just that one. You just happen to do it like I did in a different kind of way. Trade for someone, and then it's just the week that he goes dinged up. There's going to be those weeks where you make a trade and it just doesn't go your way. That first couple weeks, it can come back and help you later on.
I would have thought he should have sold Thielen for somebody better if he
Yeah,
could have with the games that he's been having.
yeah, for sure. Riggs, keep in mind, New Orleans is number 5 against the run. They are good. I just think that Etienne is going to get at some point a chance down there. They're not, and maybe on a little pass because if Lawrence is board playing, so I would take that. Gorilla Kids. Would you take Josh Palmer? Would you take Josh Palmer over Dell? I have Herbert SQB and could stack. He's clearly the number 2 on a pass heavy offense. Jamie, take this one first because I know how you felt about QJ.
Yeah, I'll stick with Palmer because I think QJ's fake.
He would have to drop. He would have to drop Dell to get him. Would you do it?
Yeah, I think I would just because you got Herbert throwing him the ball as the number 2, and then I know it's going to be Dell or what's his name each week, just going back and forth.
Collins,
yeah, Nico. So yeah, I would go Palmer. Keep him.
What do you think, Jordan?
I would go Palmer too because Tank had those good games when Noah Brown was on IR. Brown came off of IR and played last week, but obviously Tank didn't play, so we don't even know what it looks like with all those guys healthy. So we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, as of now, Palmer is the number 2 with Herbert. So yeah.
Gorilla says at Joseph Puka will be fine. Good offense, gets a lot of targets. Remember, he did drop a TD on Sunday. Could have better numbers. I mean, yeah, I don't blame him on that one, but yes, he did drop that one. All right, thanks for making me feel better. Yeah, I think you're good. I've seen a lot worse than that. Trust me. I've seen a lot worse from the guy in the bottom.
Yeah, for the other teams.
Gorilla Kid, yeah, I forgot about the drop TD, so I saw that. Yep. And Gorilla Kid says, hit that like button. Go hit that thumbs up.
Yep, hit that subscribe too and the bell so you get all the notifications. We got what, 6, 7 shows a week?
7, 8, 9 now, I think. I can.
Yeah, dang, like every day we got a show.
Yeah. So throw it around the horn, say if you need to bring anything up about what we didn't bring up. Jamie, you're up, bud.
Yeah, I mean we had a good show, talked about a lot. You can find me on Twitter X at Jamie Perogue. Also here every Tuesday night on the Cheat Sheet, and then before the game starts Sunday mornings, check us out on the Going for 2 Start Sit show.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Catch me every Wednesday. Have Cut or Keep on goingfor2.com. Let's just try to avoid getting bamboozled by a waiver wire running back like last week with DeMarcado. I think I'm hoping that Zach Evans isn't that guy, but we got to look out. It could be somebody else. But you never know. But just be on the lookout for that. Always be, even after waivers clear, go scoop up somebody that nobody else put money on. Just always browse those things as well.
And I did read one of your articles about I think you brought up Broshan. I was like, go Jordan.
Oh,
I think it was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
yeah, it was last week because he had gotten hurt. So I was telling everybody to keep him, not to drop him yet, because I know people get impatient, but you got to hold on to a guy that can be the starter.
Yep.
All right, so you guys know where to find me. I'm going to keep it nice and clean. Drop the Mike FF on the X, and then everything else. Check out my graphics on my stuff. I'm going to be posting some more hopefully soon. I got one in the works. For Jordan, for Jamie Rowe, Sean Johnson himself, good night and peace out and see you next